Well, hello, this is Mike Jacko with Minria and Real Estate Promo with another Flip It Friday video tip for you guys. And today I want to talk about getting your marketing message read. And it doesn't really matter what your marketing message says, just so long as you're actually marketing. And I tend to do a two-step process when it comes to marketing. Like if I buy a list, and one of the sources where we can buy lists is called listsource.com, and it's a fairly decent place for us to get lists. They have a very intuitive platform for us to do in our searches. It's geared towards real estate in the real estate industry. So you can search based on mortgages and equity and geographical locations and likelihood that the seller wants to sell, or free and clear properties, potential foreclosure properties, all that stuff. But once you've got your list, there's a couple different things you need to do. One is I use postcards to get my initial marketing message out. And the reason I use postcards is two purposes. One, for the people who get it, it's like branding, so that they see my information, my company name, and all that stuff. You're going to get a lower response rate on postcards, just because of the nature of what postcards are. But what I'm really looking for with the postcards is when I send them out with a first-class stamp, the post office will return the non-deliverables, and a lot of them will have forwarding addresses on them. So then we can update our list with the actual forwarding address. So now when we send a more expensive letter to the homeowners, that we're not wasting so much money on the letters and envelopes and first class stamp on a full size envelope, because that's more expensive than a postcard. All right. Secondly, the ones that you get back that are non-deliverable, those are the ones where nobody else can get a hold of the sellers either. So now you can start doing some of your due diligence. Start trying to search online for their name. And there's some free sources and free ways you can do that. It's hit or miss on that. Sometimes you get lucky, you might be able to find them. There are some paid sources that'll do it as well. And then if you can't find any other sources, then there's called skip tracers. One of the skip tracers is findthesellers.com. A friend of mine, Cameron Dunlap out in New York, runs that site. We've had some fairly decent success with that. We're finding sellers, all right, and it's relatively inexpensive for what it is. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is about getting your message read and the difference between postcards and letters. And it isn't so much that a letter is going to outperform a postcard. It's the fact that the seller or the person has to do extra work to actually read the letter. So, for example, and we've done this study, is if you take a postcard and you just mail it out to a list, you're going to get a small response. If you take that exact same postcard and put it inside an invitation envelope, you're going to get a higher response, just because the sellers actually have to take a little bit of extra effort to open up the envelope, which is going to force them to actually look at your postcard. All right, now obviously a letter is going to outperform the postcard. As long as you got more information in the letter, it'll be easier to read. But one of the keys and one of the tricks is to actually get your letters open. So the best thing you can do is obviously handwrite all your envelopes rather than computer generated or labels or anything like that. Handwriting, everyone knows handwriting is going to get your letters open more often than anything else. The problem with that is, after 3 or 4, 5, 6 letters, your hand starts getting a little sore, and after about 10 or 15, your hand becomes numb. Well, we want to send out 500 or 1,000 letters, not 3 or 5 letters a day. All right, so one of the tricks you can use is there's a website called yourfonts.com. So just Google Your Fonts. And on that website, they have a grid view, that thing you can download. And it's got all the letters, A, B, C's, all the numbers, uppercase, lowercase, special characters, all that stuff in a grid format. And then on that, you just handwrite with your handwriting on that grid. And then you scan it, upload it up to their system, and within a couple minutes you actually get a font that you can download. Now you got to pay for the download. Doing that first process is free. Getting the font that they generate for you, you have to pay for it. But it's really inexpensive, like $20, $30, something like that. But once you download that font in your handwriting, you can then add that to your computer, and then in your Word documents, or when you're doing your mail merge for doing the printing the addresses on the envelopes, or even on postcards, you can do it on that too as well. And just go up to the font selection and change the font to whatever you named your font. So for example, I got mine named Mike's Fonts. So I just select it to Mike's Font, and it'll change the computer generated address and make it look like it was done in your handwriting. And that is going to help you guys get more of your envelopes open, and the more envelopes you can get open, the more of your messages will get read and your higher your response rates will be. So with that, I look forward to seeing you guys next week on another Flip It Friday tip.